This is part 4 of the Adventures of Theseus, the black-sailed ship. For months, all the people of Athens were glad, for brave Theseus had come to live among them, and they felt confident that when his time came to rule, he would rule them well. But when the springtime came again, the doors of all the houses were shut, and no man went in or out, but all sat silent with pale cheeks. A black-sailed ship stood ominously in the harbor, and a host of rude soldiers from Crete appeared, parading in the streets, shouting, "Hear us, all Athenians! In 3 days your tribute will be due and must be paid." "What is the meaning of all this?" cried Theseus to the king. "Why do they all look so fearfully at the black-sailed ship in the harbor? And what right does a Cretan have to demand tribute in Athens?" With tears in his eyes, King Aegeus took the young prince aside and said, "Shortly after you were born, King Minos of Crete made war on Athens. When I heard the news, I hid the sword and sandals underneath the great stone, and then returned here at once. It was then I learned that some of your nephews had killed King Minos' only son, and then spread the story that I had done it. They all hoped that Minos would kill me so that one of them might become king." "A foul and wicked deed!" cried Theseus. "Minos came with all his army to avenge the death of his son," Aegeus continued. "He laid waste to the land, set fire to our ships, and surrounded the city. We asked for peace. He agreed, but in return for not destroying our city, he demanded a terrible tribute. Each year 7 youths and 7 maidens must board the black-sailed ship and journey from Athens to Crete. There they are given to the Minotaur, a monster half man and half bull, that roams the labyrinth, a maze of rooms and corridors beneath the city." "It is better," Aegeus sobbed, "that a few should die, even in so terrible a way, than all should be destroyed. I can say no more." "But I will say more," cried Theseus. "Athens shall not pay tribute to Crete. I myself will go with these youths and maidens, and I will slay the Minotaur and defy King Minos himself upon his throne." "Oh, don't be so rash," said the king, "for no one who is thrust into the labyrinth ever comes out again. Remember that you are the hope of Athens. Do not take this great risk upon yourself." "You say that I am the hope of Athens," said Theseus. "How then can I do anything but go?" And he began at once to make himself ready. 3 days later, all the youths and maidens of the city were brought together in the marketplace, so that lots might be cast for those who were to be taken. 2 vessels of brass were brought and set before King Aegeus and the herald who had come from Crete. Into one vessel they placed as many glass beads as there were noble young men in the city, and into the other as many as there were young maidens. All the beads were white, except 7 in each vessel, and those were as black. Then every maiden, without looking, reached her hand into one of the vessels and drew forth a bead, and those who drew the black beads were taken away to the black-sailed ship. The young men drew in lots in the same way, but when 6 black beads had been drawn, Theseus came forward and said, "Hold, let no more beads be drawn. I will be the 7th youth to pay this tribute. Now let us go aboard the black-sailed ship and be off." Then the people and King Aegeus went down to the shore to take leave of the young men and maidens, whom they had no hope of seeing again, and all but Theseus wept and were broken-hearted. "Father," said Theseus to the king, "do not weep. I will return." "I hope that you may," said the old king, "and if when this ship returns I see a white sail spread above the black one, then I shall know that you are alive and well. But if I see only the black one, it will tell me that you have perished." And now the vessel was loosed from its mooring, the north wind filled the sail, and the 7 youths and 7 maidens were borne away over the sea, toward the dreadful fate that awaited them on the Isle of Crete.